That sounds wonderful. Well, I am, I guess so I'd like to ask you, in terms of how do you see NVC in terms of the NAP, the non-aggression principle, though?
Yeah, I mean, oh, go on.
Yeah, I guess we can kind of see this. We can probably, like with this, I guess, in terms of the way we communicate our words, I guess, does that any way, I guess, for we can see, I guess, in just this kind of discussion of just how far this is how far the non-aggression principle actually goes. Like, would you?
Right. Like, can words really be included in this? Is that your question? Like, where does language and violence kind of overlap, or is that even a thing, or is violence like totally a physical kind of thing?
Yes, or we can, if we were somehow, I guess, and we can also say if we were to somehow label this in terms of, or just kind of describe it in terms of voluntarism and, libertarianism and in terms of the non-aggression principle, I guess, just in terms of how we define it.
Yeah, so for me, the non-aggression principle kind of fits into NVC from the standpoint of, in NVC we call it the protective use of force, right? So we don't want to initiate violence against anybody. We'll only use it to protect and no further than that, right? So if our property or our person are being aggressed upon, then we can defend that, but not unnecessarily injure somebody beyond that from a place of retaliation or punishment. So I would say that's where the overlap is as far as strategy goes. But I would say that NVC is even, well, I'm almost torn to say this, but I think NVC is like more encompassing than the NAP because it addresses the psychological and social roots of these domination systems that are like built on coercive tactics and strategies. So the thing is that all actions or behaviors come from trying to meet our needs, and if we are thinking in a place or thinking in a way of right, wrong, good, bad, evil, good, shouldn't, all of these judgments and moralistic judgments, and we see punishments and rewards as viable strategies, violence is going to inevitably arise out of that. Physical violence will. It comes from our thoughts and the way that we see things. So even though our words in themselves, you might say we're calling somebody a jerk or telling them that they're evil, isn't actually violence. That type of thinking inspires violence. And so I think there's a connection there. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, so here, there's two things I've heard and needs for that. Well, first one I think we can all agree on, which I believe I've heard, is that I think in terms of just people in general, morally, I think we can probably agree that the non-aggression principle is a starting point, though. That we can understand there are other moral questions, moral things that we should consider, other things we should strive towards. I think just about every voluntarist will agree with that. So that's just a starting point. And another thing that I guess what I heard from you was that the way that our communications, though, do and especially any kind when it gets into our thinking, of course, those do beget violence.
Yeah.
So we are definitely on board with that. However, I do. My main concerns, I guess, for right now is with this, and as much as I do love, and I think it's a very good tool for libertarians and volunteers to use, is I think if we were to kind of make our a kind of match to just our communicate our words as aggression, other than we can there can be a lot of slippery slopes you probably could see.
Yeah.
Because I mean, for there's a because I mean there can be a lot of I guess and I think because I wouldn't necessarily want a lot of just thought police, so to speak, and that censoring.
I totally hear you. I want to say, like, if you're really practicing NVC, there's no such thing as an aggressive statement. There's no such thing as there's no such thing as judgment. It's all about how you hear it. So if you're listening for feelings and needs, somebody could say anything to you, and the actual words that they say don't matter. It's what's going on underneath that you're looking for. So I would say that this is kind of one of the tricks when people begin to learn NVC, as they put it into the old paradigm of right, wrong, evil, good. And then they say, well, anything that's not NVC is bad, and anything that is NVC is good, and you should do NVC, and you shouldn't not do it. And really, that's still the same old stuff, right? So, I don't know if that kind of clarifies that, but I definitely hear your concern about this. Yeah, like, I don't want to think that I'm like, I even want to be able to fully express my judgments, like, without any sort of filter, right? And have another person be able to hear what's really alive in me underneath that, because even I've been practicing MVC for a long time, but I still think all kinds of things are good and bad and evil. It's just my habitual way of being in the world. That's how I was educated or trained to think. So it's not something that I can just undo. And actually, these judgments are really important because they're telling me about something that's really important, which is my needs underneath those judgments. So, like, if I'm thinking the government is really evil, my needs underneath that might be safety and consideration, trust, stability, choice, autonomy, liberty, freedom. There's all of these needs underneath that. So.
Yeah. Well, okay. Yeah, it sounds definitely, I hear that we're definitely, on the same page.
Yeah.
From that. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, we're just about out of time for this session. Now, do you have anything you like to plug?
Actually, yeah, I do. I will be at the Midwest Peace and Liberty Fest at Circle Pines in Delton, Michigan. This is August 7th through the 10th, I believe. It's whatever that weekend of August is, and you can check that out at miplc.org or look up Midwest Peace and Liberty Fest on Facebook. It's a family-friendly camping event for libertarians, voluntarists, or anybody, really, who wants to just come and hang out with people and discuss ideas and enjoy the outdoors all together. It's kind of like a mini pork fest.
Okay.
And then, and if you're interested in talking more with me, I offer one-on-one coaching. I also do beginning and intermediate NVC training. You can check out my website at mdnvc.org. That's Metro Detroit Nonviolent Communication. And, or Delilah de Cleyre on Facebook. Yeah, it's mdnvc.org. So it's the MD is for Metro Detroit, NVC for Nonviolent Communication. Yeah.
Okay. That sounds okay. I'll check that out later. Sounds.
Yeah.
Or is that or do you like I guess do you check? I guess do you is that just for around Metro Detroit? Do you do maybe through Skype or something like that?
Yeah, I do. I do one-on-one coaching all over the world. It doesn't matter where you are. I'll do it on Skype. Cool. I'll do it on the phone. And then I do trainings in Metro Detroit. I do trainings in Manhattan. I'll be going to London, Berlin, and Graz next month. So I'm all over the place. And if you want me to come and be where you are, let me know, and I'll see if I can work it out. I'd love to travel and meet all kinds of new people and to talk about this and how we can make our lives more and more wonderful. So
I'm all about that. Well, it's such a pleasure talking to you again. And hopefully we'll probably do this many, many more times. Yeah,
I'd like that. I always love coming on. It's great to connect with you again. And Yeah, thanks for considering inviting me and your thoughtful questions and curiosity. I really enjoyed that.
All right, thank you. You have a wonderful night.
You too.